Okay, I'm gonna do something I never do on my channel. I'm gonna talk about sports. I'm gonna talk about why the LeBron James versus Michael Jordan um debate is stupid and why it's obvious that LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan in pretty much everything other than scoring. So, lay my opinion flat out right now. Michael Jordan is a way better and more consistent playoff player. And when I say playoff player, I mostly mean in the the home stretch, like near the end. Obviously those Bulls went 6-0, or Michael Jordan went 6-0. So I mean, that's a pretty big deal. And um, he's obviously a better scorer, but not to take away from LeBron. LeBron's still a great scorer, and especially as he's gotten older and he's developed like a 3-point shot or a better 3-point shot. And it's really interesting to see someone like LeBron go through the changes that his career, like in his career, going from the kind of player he was, where he was like kind of like a slasher, more more traditional orthodox like small forward player, right? To go from being like that to being the player he is now, and like even running the point as efficient as he does and running pretty much every position like efficiently. And that kind of resume is what has established LeBron as the greatest player of all time. So I'm not gonna talk about statistics very much. Um I have a good figure of statistics, between the two. Like I will acknowledge that Jordan's best year is better than LeBron's best year by, a good bit. I can't remember the exact Michael Jordan statistics or LeBron statistics for their best years individually, but I do know that Michael Jordan's best year in the NBA in the regular season was better than LeBron James's. But um, I also am not gonna sit here and pretend like Michael Jordan doesn't deserve like at the very least one more MVP. He should have. I think he should have won it. I think it was it Carl Malone that won that Michael Jordan should have won over, but it was some statistic like that where it was some ridiculous, probably like voter fatigue or whatever. But at the same time, I'm also not gonna say that LeBron does. I feel like he deserves a couple more. Um, that being said, however, um, LeBron only doesn't deserve the extra awards because the years that players were put above him to win the MVP caliber or the MVP awards and shit, those were because, players were putting up like just generational statistics, like James Harden and Steph Curry, and the revitalizing of the small ball, and the revitalizing of the shooting game, like LeBron being the player he was, like he could, and what Russell Westbrook's season, like how are you going to, you cannot like you cannot underestimate the importance of those seasons because they're generational. Like Stephen Curry's unanimous MVP season, and like Russell Westbrook averaging a triple double, that like that's insane, right? That period of time was insane, and LeBron was still doing like insane stuff, and like LeBron was doing stuff while not winning the MVP award. He was still like consistently, like even though he wasn't winning the award, he was still by far the best player in the NBA very consistently, and it has been like that. Whereas Michael Jordan, yeah, he was the best player, or he was certainly the best scorer in the NBA. You can see that through the scoring titles. And like, I'm not here to say that Michael Jordan isn't a better scorer than LeBron James, because he absolutely is. But when you look at play all around, like, LeBron James has been great in virtually every facet. And I mean, a lot of it does come down to like Michael Jordan being in a time where like Michael Jordan was so ahead of his time. His coaching staff was ahead of its time. The team was really well built around him. But um like, there were times that teams were built around Michael Jordan, and those are the teams they won with. Like, if you look at LeBron's early career, him going to the finals at a young age, and like carrying, basically, like pretty much having an Allen Iverson situation where the team, it really does resemble Allen Iverson now that I think about it. There was Eric Snow on that team. I really like Eric Snow as a player. He's really cool. And then Dikembe Mutombo, and there are a couple really solid role players in there, but like, Allen Iverson was the star. Whereas, like, you can draw parallels to that 72-10 Bulls team. Like, you can draw parallels to the 12-13 Miami Heat, or the 13-14 Miami Heat. And the teams that those Heat squads went against, I will say that the 11-12 final, I think it was the 11-12 finals. If it wasn't that, it's the 10-11 finals. Where Nowitzki won, and like, what Nowitzki was doing in Dallas was incredible. And like, let's sit back and think about this for a second. Do we want to live in a world where Nowitzki doesn't have that ring? Like, no, we don't want to do that. Because, I mean, Dirk Nowitzki, great player. He's very, very. I have him in one. He's one of my favorite players. So he's near and dear to me. I think my favorite player of all time. I say favorite, not best. Probably Vince Carter or Brandon Roy, or those types of players. But maybe Tracy McGrady's in there too. But like, I will say that 10-11 or 11-12 NBA Finals where Dirk Nowitzki won, it was a blemish on the patch. Very poor performance. I've heard things like LeBron having problems with like teammates or something like that. But yeah, like, all of that being considered, like, the the teams that LeBron has went against have always been super formidable. You know, Everyone thinks of the Warriors for sure, but even outside of the Warriors, like, look at the Boston Celtics, like the super team Celtics, right? When LeBron in the East, with the Cavaliers, like, being very honest with ourselves, like, could we see the Bulls, like, could we see Michael Jordan in, I don't know, like pick a good team, because the Cavs weren't like the worst of the worst. Like, even when LeBron was drafted, they were a bad team, but they weren't like terrible. It's very much a Shaquille O'Neal situation where he's drafted by the Magic, and then he has to go to Los Angeles, and then Los Angeles builds around him. And I mean, we think about super teams as, like, the Warriors and whatnot, and what the Warriors had built upon, like, that's today's standards. But like, when LeBron went to South Beach, like, that was a super team. But, like, quote unquote super team, that team wouldn't have held a torch to those, even the 72-10 Bulls, because I mean, you have Chris Bosh, he's a great player and everything, but, like, are Chris Bosh and D Wade are they gonna be able to outdo Scottie Pippen? Like, do you think Scottie Pippen is a better player? I think Scottie Pippen's a better player than Dwayne Wade, you know, like very marginally. Or in this context, I think Scottie Pippen is gonna help is gonna help Michael Jordan more than Dwayne Wade is gonna help LeBron. And the team behind, like, of course, having Ray Allen and Mario Chalmers and uh yeah, shit. I'm drawing blanks here, but like, yeah, having those players that are good like role players, and everyone knows what Ray Allen is. So I mean, you know, Bosh out to Allen, bang, like everyone knows that. But um, like that team with the Bulls, it's got such an iconic coaching lineup and everything. And I mean, that being said, like the teams that LeBron has been on, they're iconic because of LeBron. And I mean, the teams that MJ has been on I mean, they're iconic because of MJ. But like, I don't know, Kyrie Irving wasn't really like entirely fleshed out. Like, he was still a really great player. Like, he's definitely a better like point guard than like Steve Kerr, right? Or Mario Chalmers in LeBron's case, or you know, like he's better than Steve Nash in what could have been Kobe's a Kobe ring, or Steve Nash's potential Laker ring. But Kyrie's definitely better than those guys. But I mean, thinking about it, you know, K Love isn't Dennis Rodman, but Dennis Rodman isn't K Love. But I mean, the teams that they were facing, you know, the Cavs were facing, and to a lesser extent the Heat, the teams they were facing, it's like you can sit here and look at the numbers all you want, but it's such an immense task, you know. You know, Steve Kerr is an incredible coach. You know, Steve Kerr he's shown his chops, you know, and he especially showed his chops with the Warriors' most recent ring. And I mean, we see so many flashes of why that Warriors roster is always, or usually always, pretty, you know, competitive when Steph's not hurt, and you know they lose Clay and they're doing pretty good, you know. But you see those things, and like people just will point out records and things, and it's like, if you would throw I don't know, if you would throw Michael Jordan's, you know, those Bulls against the Warriors, like the Warriors, it it's not even fair. And like, even a team like even a team like the Bucks, or like the Nuggets, or you know, a lot of those teams, and a lot of the teams that haven't made the finals, are, you know, and it's so hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that that people will sit here and look at those final records, and like they'll completely ignore that like LeBron has been, like, he's had to fight the fucking Sith, like he's had to fight the entire like German army, right? Like sometimes, like, seemingly almost by himself. Like, I've seen posters and like shit. People treat it like a joke, but like when the best player you have on your team, like, that isn't injured, playing along with you, is Amon Shumpert. Like, you know Michael Jordan, he almost never had that problem, you know. And like, let's not pretend the whole baseball thing is because he was too good. Right, he had a gambling problem. He was kicked out of the NBA. I mean, that's not greatness. And like, that being said, like, going to six finals, winning six finals, very impressive, right? But imagine how much that narrative would change were he in for those couple of years, you know, were he in for those finals and lost. Like, imagine how much the narrative would change, because I mean, it's two more titles, and like two more titles. Imagine if, you know, those two titles, you know, borrow them from the Spurs or whoever LeBron has lost to, you know. And I mean, would it be a the big thing comes from being undefeated, and that's the big selling point. It's not even the amount, you know. A three-peat twice, yeah, that's really impressive. Like, but I mean, you have to chalk it up. You can't replace Michael Jordan. Like, even Kobe Bryant, you could not replace Michael Jordan with Kobe Bryant, but you can't replace LeBron either. So I mean, it's really hard for me because that is really impressive. But at the end of the day, it is a team sport. You know, the only guy that was really doing that, like pretty much winning games by himself, was Will Chamberlain. Really, like putting up 50 points a game, and then his team would have to do the right. Like think about that. Like if LeBron went out and put up 40 points. He did it very recently. It might have been tonight or one of these recent nights. He put up 39 points. 39 points. I think he had a 39 point like triple double or whatever. Right. Actually, you know, I'll draw a perfect comparison right here. Um, like Russell Westbrook was doing that. He was putting up consistent triple doubles, and I think he had 42 triple doubles, which over half the season. So 42 triple doubles. I think it was that in his MVP season, his crazy MVP season, and the Thunder were not a good team that year, right? So if Russell Westbrook, being a point guard, can get those stats and have consistently incredible games to where it's so mind numbing thinking about it now, you know, like people getting like triple doubles and everything, because James Harden was doing it for a while. He's getting consistent triple doubles. LeBron turned into another triple double machine. um yeah, LeBron is has developed into a triple double machine almost. Just consistently really good stats across the board. And like I'm not gonna bring up like assists. It's tricky because Michael Jordan made up for that gap in assist with his scoring, but at the same time, LeBron's scoring hasn't been too far behind Michael Jordan, except for a couple key differences, you know. But like to my knowledge, LeBron has been scoring over 25 points per game in a majority of his seasons, and I mean that's really good. You know, we're so numb by people like Steph Curry conquering scoring records with like 32. I think his one scoring. I think it was a scoring record. It was either that or he lost to Bradley Beal, but one of his scoring records was like 32 points per game. And I mean, like that's incredible. And I think Kobe had 35 one year. I think it was like 02 or 03, somewhere around there. I could be wrong though, but like those figures, they they um they create this sort of mirage for expectation, you know, and it's just nuts, you know. It's like those things they do create that mirage. And so I mean there is that. So he hasn't been too far behind it. Now of course that difference going from 25 to 30 is a big deal, which is why, like I said, I'm not arguing for LeBron being a better scorer, because I think Michael Jordan's by far a better scorer. um not so much ingenuitive in approach to the basket. It's just his finishing. His finishing was so state of the art and robust for the time. He could move in the air, and it was like you hear it. It's Air Jordan, right? So he had that. It's so phenomenal even looking now. Now, I think he got a lot of his like finishing moves and a lot of his ideas from bigger guys like Julius Erving and people that could dunk the basketball really well for that time, and he innovated, and then people like Vince Carter came onto the scene who were really inspired by guys like Mike, and they really changed dunking, and Vince Carter really changed dunking with his performances at the dunk contest, and Tracy McGrady. I mentioned those guys in my favorites. But yeah, I mean, it's really cool stuff to think about. But Michael Jordan, he just like people point out that he wasn't really good with the left, and that's true. Like if you watch game footage, he wasn't really good with the left, but LeBron isn't the greatest with his left either. He's definitely better, but I mean, look at that side by side. That comes from the game changing. You know, LeBron's better from the left because everyone's better with the left now, right? So I mean, Michael Jordan was doing shit that people weren't doing regardless, right? So he didn't really have to go left comparatively like now, where you can't really box yourself to a certain side of the court because of how people play now. The floor is scattered. People do a lot of spacing. I think it's did I think it's zone. People do a lot of zone defense now, and um it's easy to get covered. It's easy to have one part of the floor covered. And that being said, people have had to adapt. So, but Michael Jordan was just doing stuff with scoring that people weren't doing at that time, and I mean, I massively respect that. But in terms of how, and let me get the whole defensive things out of the way. It's like, so there were a lot of great defenders of Michael Jordan's time, especially with the way defense was being played. But the way defense used to be played used to benefit guards a lot more than it benefited like bigger guys. Um, because the whole hand checking thing, it's definitely an agility detriment to the ball handler. So like just analyzing that, it definitely does like benefit guards a lot more, or at least in my opinion, it benefits guards a lot more. And Michael Jordan being a guard obviously fits in that situation. And Michael Jordan, he was a taller guard too, right? Now there were a lot of taller guys in those positions, and like compared to now, we get like 6'4", 6'5" shooting guards, whereas he was like 6'6", I think. And he's like 6'6", 6'7". Um, but I mean, we do run a lot of tall ball now in the league. Like there's a lot of taller guards, and you get guys like Giannis running point. Not, I don't think he does that anymore, but you did get like LeBron in the point. But LeBron has that place, and he's always been pass first, which is part of the reason I really do like consider him like the greatest player of all time, because like that's such a big part. Like LeBron isn't just a good passer; he's a good playmaker. A lot of the good passers are both, and I mean, like someone like Steph Curry is a good passer, but he's a better playmaker. But like LeBron is a good passer and a playmaker, and he's pretty much always been like that. And he could dish to pretty much anybody. Like he knew his team and his teammates so well that anytime LeBron was on the floor, he's a floor general. And when I say a floor general, like he did it in a way like Chris Paul used to really be like this. Every time Chris Paul was on the floor with DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin, you knew it. And LeBron is the same way, and Michael Jordan doesn't have that effect. Michael Jordan, it definitely changed the way the the game played when he was out there. But like everything is so everything is so well orchestrated when LeBron's on the court. He's like the flag carrier. He blows the bugle. You know, he can lead a charge, he can lead a comeback, he can lead anything. Where Michael Jordan was putting points on the board, but I mean, even like LeBron James could take a losing team and just keep fire the whole time, and he's always on the prowl to keep to keep his teams in the stretch, when it matters. And like that's the thing about so many of these finals. It's like so many of these people like look at stats and everything, and aside from that one example, the one versus the Mavericks, um yeah, LeBron really, 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 he just like he never gives up, and he's had some generational performances just be in vain because the teams around him weren't good. And it's like a lot of the games that were lost in the playoffs by Michael Jordan, like a lot of them, Michael Jordan played well, but just Michael Jordan played like Michael Jordan. He didn't transcend that idea of Michael Jordan. He put up like 30 to 40 points, which like it's a really good game, don't get me wrong, but like in the like 30 40 points, maybe a couple steals, maybe a couple assists, maybe a couple rebounds, but like LeBron has put up like 30 40 point triple doubles in the finals and lost those games, with relatively good stats all around the board. Good efficiency, good shooting percentages, good player efficiency. Run a lot of plays, run a lot. Having that sense of awareness, having that leader mentality, and just lost. And I mean, that's the reality of sports. You look at a lot of sports like that, and I mean, people not getting their just desserts, and I mean that really is the reality. But yeah, I'm here to say that it's really stupid because people look at longevity, like we've somehow twisted this narrative that longevity is something we shouldn't think about. And is that not greatness, to be at the top of your game, for like 20 years now, and just doing crazy shit every year, and really like leading a community. LeBron is a figurehead of basketball. LeBron is the figurehead of basketball, of the new age, at least. Like Michael Jordan was the figurehead of basketball for that period, and then it became Kobe, and then that torch was passed on to LeBron, and Kobe didn't have it for very long until like when LeBron came along. And if LeBron didn't take it, he at least shared it. And LeBron shared it with Steph Curry for a while, until LeBron is resurfaced as that. All the memes about LeBron and everything, it's like people do see him like that. People praise LeBron, and people love LeBron. I love LeBron James, his personality, his demeanor, his winning attitude, his just how he approaches the game of basketball is so commendable. You can't hate it. And Michael Jordan is the same way, like had to win, and I look up to that so much. But like when people talk about goats, it's like, look at these assist numbers, look at all these numbers. I know I said I wouldn't really talk about stats, but over time he's just shown that he is just such a complete player. And a lot of these moves, you can't assign to other players, like they got the "la fuck you" three, bro. Like what, dude? You couldn't make that shit up. And so there are times you like if you close your eyes and you imagine a player doing something. You can imagine some of the most iconic moments in NBA history, and LeBron just has so many of them. Like even the chalk throwing, like that's not even in game, right? It's like Steph Curry with the mouth guard, or like Damian Lillard's logo three, or step back logo three on Paul George. Ooh, God, that's gotta hurt. I love Paul George too. I love Paul George. Pacers Paul George has a special place in my heart. But like, oh yeah, whew. Dude, if I wanted to make this into a sports talk like thing, I do. I could. There are so many players I could talk about that have just such a special place in my heart. Like, dude, Brandon Jennings, dude. I'm such a proponent for Brandon Jennings. He's so cool. Um, I talk about football and shit like that, but yeah, it's just like so many iconic moments belong to and there are a lot of iconic moments that belong to Michael Jordan, but like LeBron is just the most complete player, and people lose track of the fact that it's a team sport, and they lose and they do it in vain too. And when I say they do it in vain, it's like they do it. They bring up these statistics of losing and whatnot just to wrap themselves in a circle where it's where they conflate the winning of the final round of the final as being the only part of the final. Michael Jordan had first round exits. Like LeBron has been ejected in a lot of areas of the finals, but like winning the actual last part of the tournament, it's a very small amount, and you can't ignore that. Like missing out on the finals, it's something. Like in getting to the finals 10 times, it's really impressive. And some of the times that LeBron has gotten to the finals, it's been a battle. It's been scraps. And like the weight of LeBron's finals too. Like what do they mean? Like the bubble final, people talk about that as the Mickey Mouse ring, but like that ring is so special to NBA history because they'll never get anything like that again. And like that 72 and 10 ring, like no one's ever gonna get that again. Losing 10 games in a regular season, and then Michael Jordan just having a phenomenal run. Like that's special. Or like beating the 73 and 9 Warriors, like those are special. Like pretty much every ring in the NBA. I think that super team Warriors was one of the few really weird examples where rings really didn't mean anything with Kevin Durant because of what they were, and uh, to double down on that, like they should have beat the Raptors, but things didn't go well for the Warriors. And when the Raptors won that, that's so special to that franchise, and like Kawhi Leonard, that's so special to someone like him, or like the Motor City, the Detroit 2000. I think it's 0304 or oh 04. No, yeah, it's 0304. I'm pretty sure 0304 finals. Like that finals is really special because that team really wasn't all that special. Like I think they had like Richard Hamilton and Chauncey Billups, which both players I really like. And I mean the rest of the team wasn't all that great. They had like, is it Lindsey or Leslie Hunter? I think it's Lindsey Hunter on the bench, and that's like the only other player on that team I care about. Did they have like Bill Wallace? I think they had a really good center too, but yeah, just like those those rings mean so much, and like even finals you lose can mean a lot. Like I know probably for LeBron he's got a lot of final series he looks back at. He's like, yeah, man, I could have done something different. And I'm sure there are even like it comes down to such a small moment, and like if Kyrie doesn't hit that three in the finals versus Golden State, I mean we'd be telling a lot of different stories about 73 and 9 Warriors, but I mean that's not the case. So you can sit and play hypotheticals all you want, But the reality is what we have, right? Now you can look at circumstances and everything, but I mean, people are always going to place an emphasis on those numbers, and that's why I'm trying not to, because like I have a lot of respect for both players. So, but I mean, yeah, LeBron is he's just the most he's the most like when you think of an NBA player and the legacy that he's had on the game, and like we're still in his playing years. Like so many players have built a legacy outside of their, you know, and so many players have built a legacy outside of their playing, right? Like Steve Kerr, or I mean, Mike has part of the Hornets, or I think he's the owner of the Hornets, and he can't fucking own for shit. The last good person they drafted was like LaMelo Ball, right? What a guy! What a fucking guy! Um, I remember being a little rascal into all the Chino Hill shit, and watching LaMelo's games. It was either in Latvia or Lithuania. I think it was Lithuania. Sounds right. But I remember watching those games, and I'm just like, wow, that's so cool. Like, there's nothing better than being a kid and watching like players like LaMelo Ball and players like LeBron James and being like, dude, that's so cool, you know. And yeah, like I said, LeBron is just like every single person that watches LeBron can, like, no matter how you approach it, from a traditionalist sense to a you like seeing players do new things and adopt the new way of playing. Like LeBron has done all of that. Michael Jordan did not do that. Like when he was on the Wizards, he had like good for an older player stats, but look at LeBron. Like LeBron's stats as an older guy, they're astronomical. Like you never get a player to do this again. Like I'd be hard pressed. Like of course Victor Wembanyama has a lot of like pressure on him and everything, but like as far as actually what's in the NBA right now, like and NBA history, no one is doing that. Like Wilt Chamberlain played. I think he played pretty like late, but Wilt Chamberlain was trying new things. I think he had the most assists for a center in one of the 70s. I think it was like 72 or something. I could be wrong, but he had the most assists for a center, and I mean, like Wilt Chamberlain played in the time he did, so I mean that's always a detriment to him. But I mean it's always really cool to hear things like that, and then you do have people that were ahead of their time, like Pistol Pete Maravich, or yeah, Pistol Pete Maravich, and like Larry Bird. I always get like really caught up because there's always like the KD versus like Larry Bird debate, and thinking about it, yeah, like Kevin Durant, obviously in today's setting, he's surrounded by so much talent that like you put KD, like modern KD with modern KD talents in that time, he'd be a wizard. But you have to reverse that too. Like imagine Larry Bird with today's like jump shots, because Larry Bird's jump shots really weird in my opinion, you know. But like, could you imagine Larry Bird like that? Because a guy wouldn't like. Of course, he's an NBA player, so he's athletic, but like those guys weren't really athletic for their time. Magic Johnson wasn't super athletic. He just had a really interesting and you know, he had really interesting and innovative ways to pass the basketball. But a lot of those guys aren't athletic by today's standards. Like people in Wilt Chamberlain's day, like a lot of those guys, they weren't like super buff. They weren't like, I mean, they obviously had good cardio and everything, but they weren't like super buff or anything. And I mean, the basketball players were on the Boston Celtics, and that's why they won so much. But a lot of the guys, they weren't people like Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain, who had this crazy vertical. Oh, good heavens. Oh, yeah. Will Chamberlain had a crazy vertical. I think he did like track and field or something. I know he played volleyball too, and yeah, like he was really ahead of his time. But for when he played, you can't even consider him in some of the best. Like I think he's one of the most athletic players of all time. But I mean that doesn't mean shit. Like Zion Williamson's one of the most athletic players to enter the league, and I mean he hasn't turned out to be anything crazy, dude. I remember watching that summer league game, the one where he got the really crazy block, that one like really high jumping block, and dude, I was like, dude, I can't wait to see what he does in the league. I, I'm like, we're entering a new age at that point, and that felt so disappointing. Um, but yeah, anybody can look at LeBron. Anybody can look at LeBron's game, not knocking Michael Jordan, but like anybody can look at LeBron's game and see that what he's doing. Like if his body were to allow him, like he could play for the next like 20, 30 years, and he would constantly be adapting and getting better. Whereas Michael Jordan was always good for his age, but like to always be constantly like top of the league, and like look at the Olympics. Like LeBron was chosen as the symbol for United States sports, and he is, you know, like as much as I love Tom Brady, and as much as I love Tom Brady or like Aaron Judge or Sidney Crosby or I almost said Ohtani. Is that how you say his name? The pitcher. Um, yeah. As much as well, he's Japanese, so I don't really count. But as much as I look at like Floyd Mayweather or whatever, I wouldn't choose Floyd Mayweather or a lot of the athletes we have here. You know, or like Serena Williams. I think she's American, or maybe Tiger Woods or Michael Phelps. Like I feel like Michael Phelps would be another good, but like LeBron is just his stature and his prestige just commands excellence, and I respect that a lot, and for him like to show out in Paris. Now Steph Curry took the show for the past couple of games, and people were talking about how he should have got it, not LeBron. But yeah, you have to understand. You have to understand that much like the Dream Team redemption, um, yeah, the one of the Kobe Bryant team. The reason I call it the Kobe Bryant team is it's a fucking Kobe Bryant team. The you know that gold medal after they fell short the last time, and like that it's much like that where like LeBron's presence on the court in the locker room, it's like he is that figurehead where like he brought everyone together, and he does that for so many like he does that for so many people. When people look at LeBron and they're inspired, everyone knows like everyone knows LeBron for various amounts of like various reasons, and you can look at his effect on the game, but you can just look at his effect on like the United States. Like he got his own Space Jam, and they cracked the Michael Jordan joke. They got Michael B. Jordan. That was fucking that actually. That's like one of the only moments in the movie that like actually made me laugh like unironically, because like oh my god, Michael Jordan, it's Bugs Bunny. The only thing that could make it better is if they like revived Mel Blanc to voice Bugs Bunny. And yeah, dude, Lola Bunny's so hot. I would. But yeah, there's that. There's like there was a crying LeBron meme. There's all sorts of like the fucking the La Fuck You 3. Like that's so funny to me that it's only a La Fuck You 3 if it goes in, and no one else can do it. Like it has to be LeBron James. He's always in the same spot. He's always in the same spot when he shoots it, and it's just pull back. It's such a simple move, but it's perfect. And then there's so many iconic moments. Like I think it's Jason Terry getting postered. oh, I would not be able to. I would never show my face in public again because he got bitched there, and like I can't even fault the guy because you're just doing your point or you're just doing your part playing defense, and you get bitched by LeBron James. Like you're nothing you can do about that. If that happens to me, I'm getting put on a T-shirt. Actually, what I would have done, I would have went home and I would have killed myself. But that's kind of sacrilegious. But so I really don't, you know. But whew, yeah, that's bad. Um, so yeah, there is that, and then you have the things outside of the or well, this isn't really outside of the game of basketball, but the live stream. You have the hit the rolly soap with the rolly on. You have all that. You know, yeah, you had the people making parodies and doing just all the edits and everything. It sometimes it feels kind of stupid to say out loud, but like I get really emotional like thinking about it sometimes, and I mean it comes with a lot of this like, oh, I remember when Peyton Manning retired, and I watched his retirement speech, and like it hits a really big part of your soul because you become so attached to become so attached to these guys, and you know and the same thing for Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers and all these great quarterbacks that I've like those people to me are quarterbacks, and the people in my my the people in my time here, you know, growing up that I really watched and admired, like, Derrick Rose announcing his retirement, bro. And when I think he hit a new career high, um, in Chicago the one year, and like it does hit your soul, and it's like there. Growing up, I have to realize that these people aren't going to be around to entertain me for forever. And that's where I'm really thankful for guys like Anthony Edwards and like John Moran and Nikola Jokic and a lot of these young people. Giannis was drafted in 2013, I think. So I mean, he's been in the league for over 10 years. Holy shit! Wow. But yeah, like I'm really thankful for a lot of these young guys they've entertained me for so long. Pause. Um, if you said that if you said that in an NBA microphone, you you get pause, or you get pause, you get fined. Um, I remember LeBron said something about a reporter saying he's putting it in my mouth, no homo, and they didn't find him, and someone made a video bitching that they didn't find him, but they find other people for saying pause. But yeah, I think the caption was like NBA quit suck, or I think it's like David Stern. David Stern, stop sucking LeBron's dick. No, or yeah, like stop sucking LeBron's dick. No homo, or yeah, like pause or no homo or some shit. I'll probably add that to the miscellaneous playlist later. But yeah, I do get emotional like talking about some of these guys I've seen come and go. Like, oh, it didn't hurt as much second time, but when Tom Brady announced his retirement, you know it gets you in the soul. Even Ben Roethlisberger a little bit. Like, no, I do like Big Ben. He led the league in the most. He led the league for women drugged in a Pittsburgh bar before a game. That's a once in a lifetime stat. I really shouldn't make it. I really shouldn't. I really shouldn't. Make light of that. But he obviously didn't do it. So, but yeah, a lot of the character, or not character. I guess they are characters to an extent. But a lot of these quarterbacks I really like. Like, I was always really disappointed with how Cam Newton's season turned out, because I really like Cam Newton. Cam Newton was my favorite player for a long time, and then I started liking traditional quarterback play. I really think I like Drew Brees. Like, I think Drew Brees is probably my favorite quarterback, just because of how prolific he is. That's a fucking another thing. Like, that's a parallel I should have drawn at the beginning. Like LeBron seasons where he was really good, but he didn't win MVP. It's like Drew Brees. Drew Brees was putting up like consistent like 5,000 yard seasons just for like Tom Brady or fucking any quarterback or any player to be putting up some like fucking ridiculous Madden stats. And Drew Brees is sitting here with like 40 touchdowns and 5,000 yards just to be like, well, fuck. And no matter what people say, culture, holy shit. Culture has a bunch to do with how players receive not rewards, awards. I mean, pretty much the same thing, but awards and shit. And it's um, like, dude, people would have gone fucking like crazy. Like, look at OBJ. Like, dude, the whole yo Odell me shit. Like, dude, that made Odell Beckham Jr. such a household name for one catch, and like, I mean, like that is the effect that culture has on sports, right? Like, you become a like that, and that comes in many and that comes in many forms. You know, like Calvin Johnson. And Calvin Johnson had really good stats and everything, but he like Fitz. You know, it's not Jerry Fitzgerald. It's Larry Fitzgerald. Like Larry Fitzgerald, really consistent, really great wide receiver, and always really just consistent. You know, very rarely drop. He had something like crazy with catches, no drops or whatever, but really consistent, really good player. You know, but Megatron, you know, that's a fucking wicked. I call my cat. I think everyone calls her cat Megatron, which is kind of lame because I like Transformers more than these people do. And anybody that thinks they like Transformers more than I do, you're fucking wrong. You can go drink Dark Energon. But yeah, dude, Megatron is a nickname that's so cool. Yeah. So I mean, nicknames, iconic moments. OBJ got both. OBJ just sounds cool. You know, I don't know what it is. The letter J is just cool. The same thing goes for music too. You know, if a musician has like a cool, like Prince. Prince is just a cool name. Like, I want to be called Prince. I don't want to be fucking Evan Button. That's fucking gay. But yeah, so culture does have a lot to do with like sports and everything. Or like how players receive that. Like Carson Palmer as a passer had a really good year that Cam Newton won, but Cam Newton had 45 total touchdowns. Yeah, 10 rushing, 35 passing, and 10 interceptions, I think. I don't think he had 1,000 yard rushing. Uh, Lamar Jackson has had a couple 1,000 yard rushing seasons, which is crazy. He recently became number one for most rushing yards by a QB, which fucking good on him. Which is that's really cool. But yeah, so I mean, if Carson Palmer would have won over that, like it's literally unfathomable because people that say shit like that don't. It wasn't the winning. It was the winning, but like the Carolina Panthers were on a fucking freight train. Like, I was so disappointed when they lost the Super Bowl because I I'm glad that Peyton got another one and he was able to finish on that high note. But like, I'm really torn because dude, that Carolina Panthers was a freight train. Like, Cam Newton, Cam Newton became a figurehead. Um, I don't think I ever got a Cam Newton jersey, which is fucking stupid. I want one of those light blue ones, the alternates they used to have. Oh my god, not with the white pants, but the jerseys they used to have with the blue top, and then they rock blue helmets. Oh my god, it kind of could be like a color rush where they get like blue pants too, but like the blue, like the blue top and then the blue helmet with black pants and black sleeves. Oh my, that would be so tough. But yeah, dude, just like Cam Newton became a household name. Like everyone remembers as Superman, the dab, all that shit. That came from him. Of course, he didn't make those moves up, cause I mean a lot of dance moves were coming like from like people like Silento and I Heart Memphis. Like that was such a time to be alive. You have to live it to understand it, cause like, dude, being a kid when that shit was trending, bro. I remember just like I used to have this friend. Um, we just we got older, so we don't really talk anymore. But I used to just throw football around with him pretty much for hours out of the day, and it was just a fucking blast. And yeah. So there's that. Uh, but yeah. Oh shit. I'm falling asleep. I'm getting narcoleptic. But um, yeah. So it's easy for someone to sit back and say like that. Oh, this person should have deserved this award. Like someone could have outperformed Michael Jordan in 1995. I think he did win MVP. There's no way he didn't. They win 72-10. There's no way he didn't. And I know it wasn't Scottie Pippen because Scottie Pippen's good enough to be the straw that straightens the camel's back to make the Bulls win, which is a totally valid point, by the way. Like Michael Jordan was not winning without Scottie Pippen. Um, but um, that's the other thing about team sports. But um, like that that's polarizing, and it's like winning is a part of it. Like with the 15-1 Carolina Panthers, it's like winning is a part of it, but it's not it exactly like that. To go 72-10, that's a freight train, and the Warriors were like pretty much the exact same way. Like that freight train is like impossible to imagine being stopped, and like LeBron stopped it. Who they face in the finals? The Bulls. They had to have steamrolled them, but yeah. So, but that's pretty much what I have to say about LeBron being like the greatest player of all time. And I didn't really talk about that really as much. I pretty much just gave some opinions. You know, shot them out there. You know, I do want to give Michael Jordan his flowers because he's an incredible player. He's the best playoffs player for sure. You know, he was consistently a really great scorer, and you know he was always there when his teammates needed him. Um, you know, in terms of numbers, LeBron is more clutch, but he's had more opportunities. You know, and I don't know, more fast-paced NBA could have something to do with it. So there is that. The NBA is really fast-paced now, and you know, Michael Jordan did. He wasn't just a slasher. He knew how to score around the basket too. Like he had a good variety of post moves. LeBron has a good variety of post moves too, especially as he's gotten older and he's had to find more ways to be crafty because he can't muscle his way through everything anymore. He can still muscle his way through mostly anything, but not everything. But yeah, I didn't want this to be an episode of the Evan Button Show, but it's too fucking long. Pause. It's too fucking long for it not to be. So yeah, sports talk, and this is the only one you're gonna get of these, unless I want to talk about football or some shit. Maybe baseball, but yeah. Given that I probably mispronounced Ohtani's name there, and I didn't really keep up with it all that much this year. Um, I doubt that I'll make a baseball episode, but I love baseball, so yeah. Yeah, but just LeBron, anybody can look at him and be astounded, and he's been doing it for so long. It's really hard. It's really hard. Like if you compare the you know per age, per the same amount of time played, it pretty much shows what everybody already has presumed. Like even LeBron fans, it shows like stats favor LeBron in things like assists and rebounds, but that's because he's not a guard. Or well, the rebounds it's because he's not a guard, but the assists it's because LeBron's pass first, and Michael Jordan's fans won't care about that. And I mean, if you like Michael Jordan's style of playing, which I mean I do for what it is, you know, I'm not like, oh, Michael Jordan should have been like Steve Nash, or he should have been like Oscar Robertson. Like, no, I don't hold those stupid preconceptions in my mind, because they're not realistic. You know? Like, because Scottie Pippen was a really good slasher. Like, not a really good slasher, but he was a good slasher. Like, he's in a little lower echelon than like Clyde Drexler, but I mean he's still pretty good. But he was so proficient. Like, Michael Jordan was so proficient at the basket, and he knew how to score in ways that like people couldn't contest. You know, and he knew how to draw. He was so ahead of his time with drawing fouls and a lot of things, and like he really knew how to work baskets, and to a lesser extent mid range. Like, there are better mid range. I think Kobe's a little better of a mid range shooter. Like, he chucked up a lot of shots, so there is that. But like, yeah, you have so you have like Kobe. You have like I'd say James Harden. The thing about mid range, I don't really think about it a whole lot. I think Dirk Nowitzki could have been a better mid range shooter too. I think there are a lot of bigger guys that are pretty proficient mid range shooters. Like Timmy Duncan was a pretty good spot up mid range shooter when he got the chance to. And Timmy Duncan's a really great player. Yeah, but Tim Duncan. Oh, Manu Ginobili. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that. I'm a dumbass. Sorry. Um, yeah, but yeah, Michael Jordan just at the basket, when I'm talking about Michael Jordan finishing. Pause. Dude, I can't record late at night anymore. I'm dropping pauses and everything. But um, everything with shit. Yeah, when I'm talking about Michael Jordan finishing, um, when I'm talking about Michael Jordan finishing, I'm talking about like his not like just dunking or layups. I'm talking about like his how he shifted himself in the air, how he moved his arms, how he moved his hands, how he flicked his wrists. Like it was so state of the art. He was so mechanical in the air. Like people forget, because we're so spoiled by people like LaMelo Ball and Jamal Crawford, another great player I really like. We're so spoiled by so many great finishers that it hasn't always been like that. Like, now people do really like simple layup. Like me, I love teardrop floaters, and I do underhand floaters. I adopted the Steph Curry method. They're easy to miss though, but there is something to be said for something simple. But there is so much fancy shit out there that we forget that it's not always been like that. The whole jelly layup thing, jelly fam. Whew, that's a pull. But yeah, it hasn't always been like that. But Michael Jordan knew how to do it. He knew when it was appropriate, and pretty much every time Michael Jordan was in the air, his adjustments were for the good. You know, uh, just he just really great scorer. All right, it's 6:25. I'm tired. You're tired of listening to me. Thank you for listening. It's the only sports episode I'm gonna do. And peace. Good night. Peace and love. Merry belated Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. I think Kwanzaa's, or it might be Kwanzaa soon. I don't know very much. I don't even know what. Yuletide. I think it's Yule. Yule is soon. And then they celebrate Christmas January 7th in the Balkan, or not Balkan, maybe some of the Balkan countries. I think like North Macedonia. But they celebrate January 7th is Christmas in some of the Eastern countries, in some of the Slavic countries, I believe, like Belarus. So, yeah. Frohe Weihnachten und Feliz Navidad und gracias por oyendo or escuchando. Yeah, whatever. Thank you for hearing or listening. You know, danke für hören mich. Und ja, hab einen schönen Tag. Auf Wiedersehen, Kameraden. Hab einen schönen Tag.
Snuggling under the covers, caught between two lovers, two men caught skin to skin. I know we're only brothers, but I don't want no others. I just wanna be alone with you. Toes in the sand, hand in a hand, a man with a man we know, 'cause we can't know better than but I don't want no others. I just wanna be alone with you. Toes in the sand, hand in a hand, a man with a man we know, 'cause we can't know better than no better than under the covers, caught between two lovers, two men caught skin to skin.